Okay, NBA Finals with the Miami Heat and one Jimmy Butler, the fourth best player on the Heat.
Come on.
I mean, he is.
That's just not true, man. You got to just eat it. Look, no. I know that I'm full of shit when I say Jason Tatum is bad. I know it. I deeply know it, and I hate myself for it. Jimmy's very good, and he's the reason that they're here. He's not the only reason that they're here, but he's the reason that they're here, and we shouldn't have let him go. The Sixers team last year was very good. They should have found a way to keep everybody, and they didn't, and they're stupid.
But they couldn't. Look, I always said he was very good. I said a bunch of things. I said they should have never traded for him because he wanted to be the primary ball handler. It was never going to work here. It didn't.
He could be the primary ball handler here, though.
But let's talk about reality instead of like made up shit. The made up shit is that they keep everybody. It's made up. It doesn't exist in any real world. He didn't want to be here. He didn't want to be here because he didn't want to share ball handling responsibilities with Ben, and Ben didn't want to be here with him. That was what happened. And let's not have revisionist history and say that he wasn't like disruptive here.
No, for sure.
And then when I said it wasn't going to work out, I said they should trade him at the deadline, and they fucking didn't. And here's what I will say about him in Miami, is that for a guy like him who is disruptive, you need, and I know this sounds like bullshit, but it's not. You need an organizational structure that does not put up with bullshit. And I thought it was like ironic that he said that Philly tried to like change him and Miami didn't. You know, one of the reasons that LeBron left Miami is because they were like, we're doing things the way that we do them here. You know, like he didn't get away with the same things in Miami that he got away with in Cleveland. And that was why he became a better player than he ever had. So like, the problem is that Jimmy was never going to work here. Now, you could say what you said a few podcasts ago and say that it should have traded Ben and doubled down on Jimmy. And like I guess like in retrospect, I can't disagree with that, but I don't think anyone would have agreed with that at that point. So like I just think it was a mistake to trade for him in the first place.
Yeah, they made a bunch of mistakes. Trading for Jimmy and Tobias, and then letting Jimmy walk for like a pretty mediocre Josh Richardson, and then signing Tobias Harris to what really seems like the biggest deal in sports history.
Yeah,
I know it's not, but it feels like it.
It feels like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a very good player. Was he perfect here? Absolutely not. But like, good organizations make shit work.
But we don't have it's not a good organization.
And we don't have a good organization. And I wish that the organization was better. I wish that Ben and Joel took it upon themselves more to like make it their own and resolve whatever is going on. And then Jimmy was involved in that, and Tobias, and everyone was just like, yo, we could be the best team in the league. And I think that they had a reasonably competent backup center last year, that they would have went to or possibly won the championship last year. Would have been a different situation. I'd be a different person. I don't know what my personality would be like in a world where the Sixers won the championship, but I hope I get to see that person someday, maybe in like if some alternate reality sort of like
maybe a show,
maybe a show like combine and sort of intersect. But Jimmy's in the finals. The Sixers lost in the first round. What an indictment on this franchise, on all of us, on everyone who's ever existed in the city of Philadelphia.
But I also don't subscribe to this like Jimmy was right the whole time. Everybody had to listen to Jimmy. Like there's he
was right that shit was wrong here.
Yes, it was. But who didn't? But like the way to fix that, like, and this is again one of my issues with him, is not to like become a fucking pipe bomb in the middle of it. Like that's not what.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
I don't think he's blameless entirely, but people say that the Sixers chose Brett over Jimmy, and that's just like so
true.
Wrong.
Yeah.
They wanted to fire Brett last year, and then because of pressure from Embiid, basically they didn't. Getting alarmed by how often this team has done the opposite of what Joel wants, and what, gotten rid of guys that Joel likes or plays well with. Just pretty generally alarmed by that. And then now Joel seeing Jimmy in the finals and be the guy, and Bam Adebayo, who is great, but who is not the player Joel Embiid is, getting like showered with all this praise that Joel should have been given if the situation was just better and not as much of a fucking mess. I don't know. I believe that Joel wants to finish out his career here, but I also think that he might just look around and be like, what the fuck? What a pointless waste of time. Well, I gotta go somewhere else.
The other thing that's happened here is we talk about the Ben and Joel dynamic so much. Like the organization has responsibility in causing like more of this like friction than needs to be, like by the setup of the team, by the leaking of the general manager that obviously preferred one to the other, like by the Twitter. So like I think they have responsibility in that as well. And by the way, the last thing before we get to our picks for the finals is we were going through the 25 and unders that we would take over Simmons, and we both said no to Adebayo. Bro, I would take Adebayo over Ben Simmons. This team specifically, obviously, it would be weird, but I would. He's a better shooter, an actual center defensively. He's a really good playmaker. He is comfortable in the role that he has, and I don't doubt that he'll be shooting threes soon enough. Like what that guy has become, he was really fucking good. Like that game against Boston in a closeout game, he was awesome. So
he's great. I still think that the best version of Ben Simmons is a better player. Whether we get to see that, whether we get to see that in the right situation, who knows? Man, it is hard rooting for an abusively frustrating team. Just every step of the way, man. These fucking people.